it tells the story of how I invented a method to remove the unconscious blockages to our goals.
Wow. Okay. Well, there's a lot of people that have goals, and for some reason or another, they say the goals, especially like during this time of year as we get ready for a new year, but then they don't achieve those goals. Why do you think that is?
I know exactly why that is. That's exactly what the book's about. Yeah. Then basically, the reason is because part of them is not aligned to achieving that goal. So if they say they want to fall in love with somebody, but in their heart there's a bunch of hurt and anger from the past about being in love, that hurt and anger from the past is literally blocking them from attracting the love they want. Once they remove that, that's when it shows up.
Right. So we did an interview a couple of years ago. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah, I don't remember it too well, but here's what I do remember. I remember that it was very good, and the feedback that I got is that people really enjoyed it. That's what I do remember from that interview that we did before.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. So let's start this interview off. Let's go to the beginning, your childhood, and let's start and build from that. Like, you had a pretty tough childhood, parents, tough situation. Can you go into a little bit of that so people can know
Absolutely.
Who you are and where you came from?
Definitely. Be happy to share.
Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
that'd be great.
Yeah, go ahead. You can start.
You want me to do it right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. Both my parents were deaf, and they had a terrible drug addiction throughout my childhood.
So let me make sure I heard that right. Both of your parents were deaf.
They are. They can't hear.
They can't hear.
Right.
But then you said they had a drug addiction problem?
Yeah, they had a pretty bad drug problem. When I was 8, they started smoking crack every day.
Wow. That's
yeah, and they didn't.
Right there, we can stop the interview like right there because, like, you know, not one but both of them. That's wow. Where do you go from there? But anyway, go ahead, continue.
Well, that went on until I was about 19. So for the majority of my childhood, I, being the oldest, dealt with the responsibility of trying to keep my parents and my brothers and myself alive and fed, and also the massive amount of verbal violence that was exploding in the house on a regular basis.
Wow, that's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, it really messed me up. And when I was 22, I was very sick physically. I went to every kind of doctor, and no one could help me. And I could see that I needed to do more than just do the right things for my body. I needed to figure out how to heal my mind from all that I went through, and that's really what got me on this path.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest, man. I still haven't got over the fact that both parents was on crack. I mean, I can't, and did it every day. I can't get past that. We start talking about anything else. I mean, like that. What does that do to a person? Like, how did you overcome that mentally? That's a mental blow, just to start with. On Arno.
Well, as a kid, I always believed that it was only temporary, and that at some point my life was going to become wonderful, and that I was going to do that once I got through my childhood. And so I just kept telling myself that as I was going through it, and I just never gave up. I never gave up believing that my parents would stop doing drugs. I never gave up believing that I could create a good life for myself, and eventually I did.
Wow. See, I know a guy, he was telling me, you know, his parents used to have card games every weekend, you know, drinking, that kind of lifestyle. And I see him, and I mean, he's doing okay, but you can see the issues that he had dealt with going through that. Those things have a residual effect on how it affects the children.
Absolutely. Up until you're 13, everything that you're exposed to gets lodged into your unconscious mind as programs, like programs on the hard drive of a computer. And so when you're an adult, you still have all that crap in the background, and you try to survive or fight through it, or, you know, be successful and happy in spite of it. But if you can actually take it out, then you feel better. You genuinely feel better, and it's not there, and you're trying to deal with it, but it's actually gone. And then it's much, much easier to become successful, whatever it is you want to be successful at.
Yeah. Like, I'm here, I got my engineer here, Doug.
All right.
And you see how loving he is with his granddaughter. Like, she pretty much could do it. I mean, she could take on the world because the love that she's getting from her grandfather is just. I'm watching this. I'm saying that's a lesson. That's a lesson in itself right there. Just seeing him and how he is with her, it's like getting a great education as well.
Mm-hmm. Love is the great healing force. It's amazing.
Yeah. yeah.
Yeah, you can heal a lot of things just by loving somebody or yourself.
Right, but evidently there's something missing where people miss that point because of the things that they would do to themselves, like use drugs, smoke crack, abuse, and stuff like that. Something's missing for that to happen.
Yeah, a lot of times they're in pain, emotional pain, sometimes physical pain, but mostly they're in emotional pain, and then they use drugs to escape from their pain because they don't know what else to do. And if we can get rid of the pain, actually get rid of it, then they don't need the drugs anymore. And I could see that in my parents. They had a lot of pain from how they grew up, and that's why they were the way they were.
Mm-hmm. I had a guy tell me once, Arno, and Arno is spelled Arnoux, last name Goran.
That's correct.
Goran. I had a guy tell me once that he said everybody gets high or use drugs for the same reason. Really? What's that reason? To change how they feel. What do you say to that?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. He's completely right. And so if you can change how you feel in a natural way without drugs, like, for example, if you could literally take the anger and pain and fear out in a permanent way so you genuinely feel better, then you don't need to take drugs to change how you feel because you feel better.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, something I developed when I was, I don't know, I guess I developed this as a young person that, like even playing sports, like playing basketball, I had a guy tell me that he's going to use all these elbows and stuff on me and think that I'm going to let that go? I mean, are you serious? If you do that to me, I'm coming at you. That's just my personality. But he doesn't seem to understand it, Arno. Arno, are you with me?
I'm here, yeah. Did you say he didn't understand that?
He doesn't understand the fact that if he's saying he's going to be aggressive and throw these elbows and start attacking me, I'm going to come back at him. That's just my personality. But he doesn't seem to understand that. What do you mean he didn't understand? He said, that's what he said. He said, I won't be able to come back. That's what he said. That's exactly what he said. He said, I won't be able to come back. I said, well, listen, I will be coming back. If you're throwing elbows and doing all these different tactics on me, I'm coming back even harder. That's the way I was trained. That's the way I was taught. And that's a part of my personality.
Sure. So basically, you're going to protect yourself if someone tries to hurt you.
Bingo. That's what I try to explain to him, but for some reason, he doesn't seem to get that.
Right. Yeah. And then there's a part of you that's frustrated or annoyed, probably, or even angry that he doesn't get that, and that he thinks it's okay to attack you, and that you wouldn't defend yourself.
Now, the question is, would I be angry and would I be annoyed? I don't know. I guess I would be. I never looked at it like that, but I guess
it sounds like you are.
That's what it would be. Yeah.
Yeah. And then here's the really interesting thing about relationships is that feeling that you have inside of being angry and annoyed or whatever it is, frustrated about his behavior. You felt that way before, and you've been in the situation before with different people. And it's been the same pattern over and over and over again. And the key is to take out the frustration and the anger because that's what's attracting the pattern. And then you'll stop experiencing this pattern and you'll stop having that problem. So what will happen is people won't stop attacking you, or when they do, it won't frustrate you and annoy you or make you upset at all, or those specific people that used to attack you will just disappear out of your life, or they'll change.
Well, I know what my trainer, my teacher, boxing teacher explained to me, he says, listen, if somebody does something illegal to you, hit you in a way that it's not supposed to be, he said, you give it to them 2-3 times even harder. You give it back to them. You don't just let them get away with that. So I mean, I was trained that way, and that's a part of my also a part of growing up. You know?
Yeah. Well, what I learned is that if you let someone abuse you, then that's abuse in and of itself. You gotta stop the abuse. And the guy that started Aikido, the Japanese martial art, was a master. Sorry?
You said your dad?
No, my dad didn't start it, but this Japanese gentleman who was a master of 3 different art forms, he started this new style called Aikido.
Okay.
And the philosophy of it is that if you're really a great martial artist, when someone tries to attack you, you can stop them from hurting you or anyone else without even hurting them. If you have to hurt them, fine, to stop them. But if you're able to actually stop someone from hurting anyone else without hurting them, then that's another level of mastery that you want to aspire to.
Wow. I like to know more about this Aikido.
Yeah, the thing about Aikido that I noticed is that people are learning that art form without learning the other stuff that the original master learned before he created it. And I think you need to have a pretty wide background in terms of your training to be the best you can be as a person, right? The purpose of training martial arts is to develop yourself. And I would just say that it's good to know multiple styles or to develop yourself in multiple ways. But the philosophy of Aikido is really beautiful.
Well, isn't it the person, you use their weight against them, not force on force, but using their weight and strength against them? Is that how that works?
Well, that's actually true in many different martial arts styles, like in Tai Chi, in Aikido. The idea is if someone pushes at you, you don't push right back. You pull.
Right,
and then they fall over.
Right. Okay.
Right? And if you're standing in neutrality, then if someone pushes, you just pull. And then if they pull, you just push.
Right.
And then
nice.
Right? Yeah, and it's the same thing emotionally. So if someone is pushing you with negative energy, like they're angry at you, if you push back with the same energy, it just creates a bomb going off. But if you can deflect that energy by healing yourself, then they'll stop doing it.
So talking about energy and push back, one of the things that we as a people need to improve is our health. And you have this program, your website is TotalHealthMasteryUSA.com. Health. Let's talk about this thing called health, because you were very sick growing up from all the things that you experienced with your parents. And actually, even before we get into that, the parents, they went through what they went through, but how do you see them? Is there anger, is there hate, or is there understanding of they did what they did because of what reason do you think they did what they did?
From my point of view as a teenager, my parents did what they did because they were in a lot of emotional pain themselves from the way that they grew up.
Okay.
And I understood why they were that way. It didn't make it right, but I forgave them. Right?
Wow.
I'm not going to hold on to this forever. I didn't do anything wrong. So I just forgave them when I was 17 and said, okay, now I need to focus on continuing to make my life better.
Wow, that's powerful, man. That's powerful, Arnell. That you actually forgave them, man. That's pretty profound. Because a lot of people will hold on to that anger, that hate, and they'll hold on to that. It's not what you did is not easy.
Well, thank you. And that's only the beginning, really, because then you start to realize that what you've been through is like a lot of weight that you're carrying, and just forgiving doesn't get rid of all that weight. Even though it allows you to move forward in your healing process, you still have to figure out how to drop all the weight, and there's ways to do that.
Are they still around now?
Yeah, they are.
And how are they doing now?
They're doing good. They're not doing drugs anymore, which I'm really proud of and happy. Yeah, they stopped over 20 years ago. They've been off of the pipes, so to speak. I would just say that when you really love somebody unconditionally, you just accept them the way that they are. You don't try to change them or make them be something different than what they are.
Now, I know they probably looked at each other and said, how in the world did we develop a son like this? This guy's amazing. How did we do that? I'm sure they probably looked at each other and said, how did we do it?
You're so funny.
Right.
I don't know if they really think that way about me.
Okay.
But I appreciate you saying that.
No, but they realize that you are helping a lot of people. Do they realize that? Are they aware of that?
I'm not sure. They haven't really spent much time being involved in my life, and I understand why they are the way that they are, and that's fine with me too.
Okay.
So I'm not sure to what degree they know that I've saved and changed thousands of lives.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So now, total health. How do you help people improve their health? How do you do that?
Well, there's 23 courses in my program, and 6 of them are about your body. And I started teaching those workshops because that's what I did first. I fixed my body and I wasn't sick anymore. So I started teaching what I did and developed a whole training around that. So the best thing first I'm going to do is go through all my courses and learn it. And it took me over a decade to design it and deliver it in a specific order, like a system, so that people can just walk through it and understand how their body works and therefore how to make it work better.
Mm-hmm. So let's say I went to your website, Doug, and what course would you recommend for someone like me?
Well, I think everyone would want to take all my courses eventually. I felt in writing them that every single one of them was necessary for everyone. But the first one that almost everyone starts with, and probably would be true for you too, is the 7 steps to reprogramming yourself, which is where you learn how to go and take things out of the unconscious mind, dropping the old weight, and therefore changing what you're creating in your life or opening up the way for your goals to come forward. And then if you want to make health your priority and make that the goal area you want to work in, then take the health courses right after.
7 steps to reprogram yourself?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
That's the first course.
You know what? That's perfect, because here we are coming to the end of 2019 and then going into a new year and actually a new decade. What better way to start a decade and a new year than reprogramming yourself?
Absolutely. You'll actually make a lot of your resolutions come true that you couldn't make come true before. Maybe all of them.
Yeah, why is it that people set resolutions and for some reason a few weeks into the year, maybe a month, if more, they just drop it, they forget about it, whatever. Why does that happen?
It's because their conscious mind and their unconscious mind are in conflict. So in their conscious mind, they're saying, I'm going to go to the gym. This is my year. I'm going to go work out. I'm tired of being overweight, or I'm tired of being out of shape, or whatever. And they go buy that gym membership. And then the unconscious mind, which is programmed to behave differently, eventually kicks in and takes over, and they find themselves not going to the gym. And logically, they might make excuses like, well, I just have so much work to do, or this and that. There's always a reason. But ultimately, the reason why they didn't achieve whatever their resolution is because part of them is saying no. And once we get all the parts of ourselves to say yes, that's when we can do it. In other words, procrastination is caused by the sadness and the anger and the fear that we have inside of ourselves about that goal. And once we remove it, then we start taking action toward achieving that goal.
Uh-huh. So what I'm about to tell you now, Arnold Goran, is a little bit embarrassing, but I'm just going to let it out. I'm going to tell it. I'm going to say it. You ready?
I'm ready.
So I went to a workshop once, right, where the guy that was leading the workshop was working with Tony Robbins. You know who Tony Robbins is, right?
Sure.
So he was doing a workshop seminar to promote for you to go to the Tony Robbins big event. This was like a mini event to go around and get people to go to the big event.
Sure.
So I don't remember the guy's name right off the top of my head who was leading it, because he did a lot of these seminars and workshops. But he had this part of the workshop where you had to write on the board 2 things that you wanted to achieve or conquer, and you wrote it on the board. And then, so I wrote 2 things down on the board. I wrote, I wanted to develop my organizational skills and also be more focused, right? Put that on the board. And then on the back, on the other side of the board, he said you would write massive action. I still have the board. And then the next thing we had to do was break the board. Mm-hmm. So it was a lady, she was like, trying to break the board. I don't know if she ever broke the board. But me, right, I was a boxer, right? So it was like, bam! I just exploded that board. One shot.
I bet.
Pow! I was like, oh man, that was nice. I mean, just one shot. So anyway, I still have the board, but I still have those things I want to improve: organizational skills and focus. What happened? What happened, Arno?
I can tell you what your programming is if you want.
Say it again.
I can tell you what's inside of you, the programming that blocked you from achieving those goals if you want.
Yeah, tell me.
It's easy. So the first goal was to develop more organizational skills, right?
Right, organizational skills, yes.
Yeah. So when you think about the fact that you did not achieve that goal, how does that make you feel?
I don't know. It feels like, I don't know. That's a good question. How does it make me feel? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. Really sure. Like how I'm not. Of course, that's something I would like to achieve. I know I would get great results from achieving that. I would get excellent results.
Yeah.
So it's like it's something I'm not achieving.
How does it?
So I haven't got to the feeling part. Go ahead.
Yeah. How does it make you feel that you did not achieve that? How does your body feel when you think about that?
It makes me feel like I probably could help a lot of people that are not being helped because of something I didn't achieve. So probably not good. I would have to say not good because I love helping people.
Not good.
Yeah.
All right. I'm the same as you. I love helping people. So that feeling, that not good feeling, where is that in your body?
Where is it?
Yeah. Where do you feel it? In your heart, in your tummy, in your head?
I would say in my head.
Okay, good. And what's the size and shape of it?
Oh, wow. What's the size? I don't know.
I understand.
These are things I never thought about.
No, of course not. People don't ask these questions. It took me years to figure out these questions.
Uh-huh.
Like, this is the result of decades of coaching and working with people and figuring out how to help people.
Wow.
So these questions they're gold because you can use them to find the unconscious programming that actually caused you to not achieve the goal. So that not good feeling in your head, if it did have a size and a shape, and you could know what it was, what would it be?
Repeat that question again.
Sure. That not good feeling in your head that's there when you think about the fact you didn't achieve that goal, if it did have a size and a shape, and you could know what the size and shape is, what would the size and shape be?
You know what? I'm going to say the size and shape would be big. Maybe like the size of a building, like a university.
It's huge.
It's huge. Why I say that? Because, you know, I've done over 900 radio programs, interviewed some amazing people, and me being more organized and focused would have been able to help just as many people as been on my show. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. So that not good feeling that you feel about that, if it were closer to anger, fear, or sadness, which one would it be closer to?
I would say I would go with sadness.
Yep. So that sadness, that's the size of a university building. That is why you didn't achieve the goal. That is like a big tree in the middle of the road that you're trying to drive down to the goal called have better organizational skills and focus. If we remove that sadness and any other layers underneath it, that's when you'll achieve the goal, not the other way around.
Yeah. Because think about this. If I've done over 900 shows, I would say, even it out, let's say 1,000 people, that means I could literally help 900 or 1,000 different people. That blows my mind. I never even looked at it like that until we're having this conversation. But that's significant to me.
Yeah, absolutely is.
Those are 900 people, 1,000 people out there that you know need my help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. 900 messengers that want to get a message out to make the world better.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Wow, we got some work to do, man.
Yes, we do. All right. So what's the plan?
Well, that's where we have you on the line. That's why you're there, to help us out, to give us some, some guidance. There we go. Thank you, Mr. Engineer, Mr. Dougie. He said guidance. That's what we need.
Yes.
That's where Arnold Goran comes in. That's a pretty cool name, Arnold Goran. Because when I think of Goran, that makes me think about Roberto Duran, the boxer. So that's pretty cool. I like Duran. He was a good fighter.
Yeah.
So what do we need? Cool. So what do we need to do? You see how fast I changed the subject. So what do we need? So what do we need to do? I said, did you see how fast I changed the subject?
Oh yeah.
So what do we need to do to reprogram ourselves and get that organizational skills together and get the more focus?
Well, there's 4 major tools for working on the inside. I call it for transformation. The most important one, the one you learned first, is the 7 steps to reprogramming yourself. So what you would do is you would take that sadness in your head, the one that's as big as the university building, and you go through the 7 steps reprogramming yourself with it, and at the end of doing the 7 steps, it'll be gone. In fact, it'll be gone forever, permanently gone. And then you'll ask again if there's anything else that you feel about not achieving that goal until there's nothing left. Mm-hmm. And then you'll just find that you now feel differently about it, and all of a sudden you'll start taking actions towards achieving it, whereas up until now, it's been like mud. You just can't get through it.
Right. Well, actually, right now, I have been taking steps toward being more organized. I'm working on that I'm working on that right now, becoming more organized. Yeah, so I have been working towards it. And I'm going to tell you, it's a hell of a job when you haven't done it. When you have not done it, then to do it, it's a big job.
Yes, it is. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I have this client named Suzanne. She has a wellness center that she owns and runs. And she said, I don't know what I'm going to get out of taking your 7 steps through programming yourself course, because I don't have anything of my own to clear out. I want to learn it to use it with my clients, but I just don't know what I'm going to work on. And I said, well, what's your number 1 goal in your life? And she said, my goal is to expand my business, but I just feel like there isn't enough time. And I said, okay, well, how does it feel that there isn't enough time? She said, I just feel overwhelmed. She said, but I'll feel better soon because I'm taking all these actions to get rid of the overwhelm. And I said, okay, well, what if the overwhelm is actually what's causing you to have the experience of not having enough time and causing your business to not be as successful, and that we could actually remove that from your mind, that experience of being overwhelmed. And so we did, actually. She came to my 3-day course, and she erased the anxiety, actually, that was underneath the overwhelm. And she said she went to her office the very next day, and for the first time, she felt like she had plenty of time to do everything she wanted to do. And in that week, new opportunities came in, and she went from being in the red to being in the black in 1 week from clearing the overwhelm. Then this week, she told me that she just opened a second center and just moved their center to a bigger one. So her business has been booming just from clearing out that one unconscious blockage. She thought she was going to manage it by doing different techniques to, make things better, and then the overwhelm would go away. But actually, the overwhelm was inside of her. Once we took it out, everything changed around her.
Arnold, where are you located?
I'm in Southern California.
Southern California?
Yes.
You know what?
SoCal.
I have never been in California. I've been to Las Vegas a few times, 4 times, but never been to Colorado Springs. That's it. Texas, but never California. What's it like?
California is a beautiful place.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's beautiful and it's huge. I mean,
it's what?
It's a massive place. There are a lot of different things to do and see in California. It's very diverse and it's very, very big. It's a huge state.
How would you compare California to, say, where I'm from, New York City?
Well, the weather's obviously a huge difference.
What's that?
I would say in New York, the weather is very different.
Okay. Thank you.
In California, it's sunny almost all the time, and in New York in the winter it's very cold and it's challenging. And New York City is a real city. Like when you're there, my experience is when I'm there, I'm in a city and I'm surrounded by concrete. But California is very spread out. It's like a giant suburbia with some small cities like San Diego and Los Angeles and San Francisco has a real downtown. But outside of that, you have just tons and tons of space and lots of suburbs. I mean, LA is just a giant suburbia. So it's very different in that aspect, and there's just different cultural patterns and behaviors that you'll see generally in each area, and I think there's probably a lot of similarities too. I don't know enough about New York, having not lived there myself, to say really clearly what the differences are, but I've heard that people in New York are very direct. They tell you what they think. They don't care about being criticized, and they'll criticize you, no problem, because it's not a big deal. Whereas in California, people are very sensitive to, ruffling someone's feathers, and so they're not nearly as direct, and it's very different.
Wait a minute. Wait a second. I've heard, I don't know how true this is, I've heard that, say you meet someone in California, and they're having a conversation with them. As soon as they find out that you can't help them, they just immediately walk away. Don't even say bye. They just walk away. Like, that's what I heard. I don't know how true that is.
There are some people like that.
I would be standing there like, are you serious? Wow.
Well, it's hard to say all the people in LA or all the people in California. I mean, just California alone is so vast that you can't really say California, because people from Silicon Valley and San Francisco are really different from people in San Diego or in Los Angeles.
Yeah, okay.
Or people who are way up in Northern California. That's a completely different world. People who are in Mount Shasta, for example. But in Los Angeles and in Southern California, there is some of that behavior. And it's amazing when we try to hire someone and they are supposed to come in for an interview, half of the people don't show up, and they don't let you know that they're not going to show up.
Wow.
And it's surprising to me. I can't believe people would do that. I wonder if it's a California thing or if it's a Southern California thing. It's interesting. And yeah, there are behaviors like that where people are very selfish and they're not thinking about making friends or connecting with other people, but they're just thinking about forwarding their career, and that becomes more important than human connection and building long-lasting friendships and things like that. And that's unfortunate, because you actually become more successful in your career if you make friends.
Right. Wow, that's pretty cool. So, what do you have planned for? Here we are coming to the end of this year, 2019, and moving into a new year, new decade. What does Arnaud Goran have planned for this last month and moving into 2020?
Well, I have a lot of plans, and the ultimate plan is to each day trust the divine plan, right? Go with my intuition and see where it takes me. And so I might end up changing plans, but right now we're on track to expand our internet marketing and our social media, really more on the internet marketing side. And, I've been doing everything live and in person, and we built a whole online platform. And so now we're moving into the phase of marketing all these courses that we've recorded and edited and I've spent decades creating. So that's really the main goal for 2020, is to expand that online marketing and presence and let more people know what I can do and that I can help them. There's a lot of people that are looking for me, and when they meet me, they say, I've been looking for you for a long time. And so I just want to make myself easier to find, is what I'm really saying.
Okay. So I think we need to, I know we did the interview before, but now we did this one. I think we need to do a follow-up to this interview. I think we definitely need to follow this up. Let's follow this up. And I'm very, very interested in, where you're going and the work that you're doing. Very interested.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. One of the things that's occurred with the internet marketing is seeing that people really want me to talk about relationships and all the knowledge I have and courses that I've created over time on that. So I might be putting out some smaller, like mini workshop programs around relationships. Like one of the ones I'm working on is called How to Manifest Your Soulmate. for example. So that might be part of what is a big part of what we do in 2020 is putting out more programs on relationships.
Right. Well, the way I look at that, I mean, relationships is everything. I mean, everything you do, this radio program, your job, everything is relationship based. So that's a hot topic. That's always going to be a hot topic. Family, that's relationships. You name it.
It is. People have been asking me to teach about relationships for so many years, and I've compiled a lot of research. I've been, planning and writing these programs for a long, long time, and there's been a tremendous positive response to what little I have put out. So I'm excited to put out more.
Yeah, like the engineer Doug, we were talking before you came on. We were talking basketball, and basketball. I mean, we got 5 players on the court at the same time, so we're dealing with relationships. And like I enjoy watching the team that I like the best is the Golden State Warriors, and there was a point where their relationship with basketball was just a beautiful thing to watch, to see how they worked together, the team worked, it was just beautiful. The Splash Brothers, it was so wonderful hearing the engineer say the Splash Brothers. I love hearing them say that. Yeah. So relationship is. I
saw the same thing.
What's that?
I saw the same thing watching them. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Yep. I know. So we're gonna have to follow this up with another interview. I'm gonna be reaching out to you, say, hey, let's get back together. Let me think about what we talked about, and then take it to another conversation.
That would be great. And if people are listening and they want to know more about me, they can just go to my website. It's TotalHealthMasteryUSA.com. I have a free webinar on there. There's always free training on there that people can try out and see if they like me. If they want to learn more.
That's wonderful. And I know you're in California now. I know, but we should probably do the other radio station also. I know I only got a few shows left on that station before the end of the year. I don't know if we can get it in before the end of the year, but if we could, let's do it. If not, let's start off 2020, man. Let's go.
All right. That sounds great. I appreciate you.
And wait a minute, if you don't do the right thing, I'm gonna have to take you in the ring and put some gloves on with you and move around with you in the ring now. So you got to do the right thing.
And what is the right thing that I've got to do?
Just help more people be successful. Help more people achieve their goals and their dreams. So you're already winning. You already done it already. Still doing it.
Still doing it. Yeah. Still helping more people. Still loving making a difference in people's lives.
Besides, I don't want you to do that Aikido on me. You might do that Aikido on me, man. That Aikido sounds so wonderful, man. I love hearing about this Aikido thing. I need to do some more research on that.
Well, there are many good martial arts styles, and I only brought up that one because of that one piece of philosophy that was really amazing. Yeah. The idea of not hurting them, even though you're stopping them from hurting anyone else.
Right.
If you can do it.
That sounds like one I would like to do on my engineer, Doug. That sounds Aikido, yeah. Because he don't want to do the boxing thing with me, so maybe we could do the Aikido thing.
Sounds like fun.
I know. Let me get your website one more time.
Okay. It's TotalHealthMasteryUSA.com. TotalHealthMasteryUSA.com.
All right. Final question. I promise this is the final question. What do you see in 2020? What do you see happening for you and also the world?
Well, for myself, what I see is that as myself and all the people who go through my courses, all my students work on their inner self, the environment is shifting and changing really quickly. A lot of my students are telling me that people that were terrible to them and their family are being nice to them now, or they're making a lot more money than they ever made, or they're no longer doing jobs they don't like. And I'm seeing it really huge in my environment because of the work that people are doing. So I just see more of that. I see more happiness, more joy. I see a lot more people finding out about my work and getting access to it. And there's a lot of expansion in my company. So I just see that expansion continuing, but probably in a more exponential fashion than it has before. Not as gradual, more of a boom explosion. And for the world, I feel like the world is evolving, and sometimes people don't see the evolution because they see all the problems, but I see a lot of evolution. I see a lot of people becoming more aware, becoming more accepting, less judgmental, less racism, more love. I see more abundance coming in. I think that our planet as a whole is on the right track as long as we can keep believing that we're going to clean up our planet and bring peace on Earth, because that is our future.
Wow. That is awesome. I'm excited. And the free course that you have, give me the information about that.
Oh yeah. So if you go to my website, you can on the homepage there's a free webinar you can take called "Why Your Life Is the Way It Is," and in that webinar I show you where a lot of your patterns come from in life, like why you keep dating the same person that has a different name, or why you keep dealing with the same financial problems over and over, even though you've been to a million courses and bought gazillions of books on how to have more money. The same problems are still there. And so in this webinar, you'll see for yourself where your patterns are coming from, the ones you're able to see, and you're going to get to have an understanding of why your life is the way it is, which is the first step in being able to change it. And sometimes it really breaks through for people to such a degree that their whole life begins to take a different track just from this mini workshop. It's the best of the 20-plus mini workshops they do. So I recorded it as a webinar. You can just go on my website and put in your email and watch it for free.
All right. So how long is the webinar?
I think it's about 90 minutes. It's not too long for a real workshop. It could easily be 3 hours.
Okay. All right. That sounds like a plan. Well, thank you, Arno Goran. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Rick.
And we're going to be in touch, and we're going to see. Maybe I'll take the course, and then we'll do a follow-up on that. I'll do the webinar.
That'd be great.
And we'll do a follow-up on it.
That'd be great. Yeah, last month I was interviewed by a best-selling author who is a psychiatrist and runs a rehab center in the Northern California area. And he actually took my whole 7 Steps course, the whole 3-day course online. He watched the videos of it, and he was just completely blown away. He wants us to come and train the staff at his center to do it because it's so amazing to be able to take old emotions out permanently, and it's powerful. So yeah, if you have your own experience of it, you'll have a lot more to say about it.
Yo, Arno, how would this course help a senior citizen basketball player trying to make a comeback on the court? He's shaking his head no. How would this help a senior citizen basketball legend? How would it help them?
Well, it would help them overcome whatever is in their mind that's in their way. But right? So if in their unconscious mind they have all these thoughts like, I'm too old, or, I'll never get back in shape, or whatever it is, you can use it to erase all that stuff so you can get your mindset correct.
Right.
Yeah. And then after you take that course, then you can take my courses on the body and learn how to rebuild your body, and that will help a lot too.
I think we created a monster, Arno. We created a monster. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. I really appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you for having me on.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Is your best friend, and it's getting so used.